Good evening, good evening, good evening.
After that intro, I'm just like, wow.
Mimi said that just indicates her love for me. So thank you, Mimi, for loving me. Good evening, all. We have the distinct honor of having with us today um, one of Mimi's longtime friends and colleagues and associates. Is she a Sita?
And SISTAHRZ.
Definitely,
And
she
a
is an original
An
singer.
original Sita.
Yes.
With Ada Babineaux. She's a filmmaker. You're director, right?
Yeah, man.
Okay,
Yeah,
filmmaker, director, producer.
That's my girl right there.
And we are taking the opportunity to chat to her because she has the San Antonio Black Film Festival. Is that
Black
San Antonio
International?
Black International. We got to go international.
Okay, Black
Blackness.
International Film Festival, which begins tomorrow.
Correct.
And goes
September 30th.
The 3rd, which is my birthday.
Nice.
So welcome. Thanks for being here. Tell us about the film festival.
Wow, this is our third. This is I'm a native San Antonian, and moved back a couple of years ago, just back and forth. I'm still back and forth because my mom is here, elder now, and needed someone home. So I just being a filmmaker and coming back home back and forth after a number of years, 30 some odd years being in DC and Howard area. There was just an absence, of film of just mixing of people. I came from Howard in area, so all those years there was a buildup, there was a community there to pull from, of filmmakers, of creatives, having worked at BET and whatever. That it was just there. So here, it was kind of, I was trying to figure out how to fit into what was happening here because I didn't really get a sense of community here in terms of Black folks in film. So I had the idea of starting a film festival because San Antonio has about 8, 10, 12 film festivals, if that many. And there was nothing that specifically focused on people of African descent and film, bringing in films of people of African descent. I think I had even entered one of my films, my grandmother's film, in one of the festivals that didn't get picked up, and I was like, eh. So I just had the idea of starting a festival, and so the conscious-minded people that I did meet when I did come home, kind of called a meeting with a few folks, and in the fall of 2018, and we met, and everybody was like, yeah. And so poof, it was just started at that time. And then we had an initial launch in February of 2019. There's our cultural hub here is the library, the Carver community, the Carver Library. Yeah. That's like, it's in the heart of the East Side. Let me tell you about San Antonio. San Antonio is very apartheid where it's set up. East Side typically was Black. Yeah. North side white, west and south are typically Mexican. I mean, that's changed over the years, but it's pretty much, we're coming back home. It's not like that anymore, pretty much. The landscape has changed. There's gentrification setting in, and, so there's a lot of changes and expansion with the city.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're the East Side is where typically Blacks are. So we meet at the library, our cultural hub, and there's another, the Carver Community Cultural Center is also on the East Side, which they bring in performing arts and theater, music, and all of that. So those are nice little things. I highly encourage you to come visit.
I've been hearing about San Antonio for a long time. They talk about, but it's interesting because they talk about the cultural diversity and that type of stuff, and it's I've always kind of wondered what the Black overlay looked like. So
it's so interesting having been gone 30 years. I left in 81 when I went off to school from high school, and there was a distinct Black community. We had a Black radio station, KAPE. We had Black newspapers. So you got a sense of where to get your news, where to get your information. But coming back, that's not the case pretty much. There's no FM Black station. They have AM, gospel stations that are smaller. And but more Blacks are spread out. But typically when you move to San Antonio, people are like warned about the East Side. You know,
Really?
don't move to the East Side. Like it's a bad place. But I mean, I grew up here, born and bred here, went to the high school here, went to junior high, and it's not a bad place to me, but that's typically the stereotype. And so they push a lot of the Black, young, upward moving people to the north side. And that's pretty much, and it's very spread out. There's no sense of connection, connectivity. So, you know, even trying to find an audience for this festival is challenging. Because you put together a festival for your people, and also you want other people with open minds and curiosities to come and support as well. But it's been kind of difficult to try and just figure that out.
Do you have a core of conscious Black people, or are they spread out as well?
You know what? They're spread out, but it seems from coming back here that core are from somewhere else. Like they've come from other places, and then they're doing progressive things here. There's a brother that started working on films here. He set up a bus tour, Black bus tour, Black history tour, and he has pop-ups where he sells Black books, and so there's those core people that know that there's a need for certain things, and they meet that need by the ways that they can. But it's a nice city. I'm enjoying the quietness, having just the hustle and bustle and stress life in DC for a number of years. So I mean, it's cool. So
yeah, no, I was wondering. I'm not a film person. I'm film affiliated because of Mimi. Film adjacent. Thank you for the right term. And I just wonder what type of work you had to put in to pull this together, because it just kind of boggles my mind.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I don't think people realize the extent of it, and you have to be passion driven, because there's not a paycheck coming in at the door right now. Prayerfully, you work toward that and get sponsorship and all of that. But I have a background that in coordination, in production management, and I mean the skills that I obtained being a filmmaker and having been reared under the school of Haile Gerima. I just learned a lot of survival skills and just how to make things work. So really, me being gone from home 30 plus years prepared me to do what I'm doing now in terms of starting up this film festival. When I first started it up, I brought in everybody I knew from DC, connected with everybody from New York, DC, and brought that into the first inaugural film festival. Haile came down, Gerald Horn came down. I could partner with the National Black Programming, Black Public Media with films, and filmmakers that I knew had come down. So everything that I got and worked on, and the people that I connected with, the resources, whatever, that's all coming back to this festival. It's a lot of coordination. It's curating films, finding films, coming up with programs and events. The first year was all event venues. We had great partners that came on, said we could use their venues. They were down with that. We were at the Texas Institute of Cultures, which is a major building owned by UTSA. We had the Carver Community Cultural Center, the Carver Library. So we had partners that were like, so they let us use their facilities. And then we rented UTSA's. They have a beautiful auditorium where we rent for films and performances. So those people bought into it, and great. The first festival was on overcoming isms, racism, sexism, and just social constructs. Social constructs. So that was that went very well. we didn't have the massive crowd like we should have had, because it was like some really progressive, impactful stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel that that's gonna grow. It's gonna grow. So this year I try to theme it. So that was last year's theme. This year's theme is on phenomenal Black women creatives. I wanted to do something around women this year.
Okay.
And so all of our panels and interviews and all of that just takes place around women creatives. And then we have, in addition to that, we plan films that are international in scope. And those films are from an open call. You put out an open call when you're looking for starting a film festival. And you put, there's a platform called filmfreeway.com.
I've heard of it. Thank me.
Yeah, you enter all your films on Film Freeway from around the world. People enter their films. It has a bio, it has a trailer, all that attaches, and you can see that when they enter. And they pay virtually to have their film submitted. We have judges that actually judge those films. And then the winning films from those are selected, official selections for the film festival. So that's pretty much the way we do it. And it's been working really well, really well. So that's what we started, and we had 66. It increased every year in terms of the amount of films that were submitted. So we had 66 films submitted this year, and out of those 66, 44 were selected to be our official selection for the film festival.
How many judges do you have?
We had 14 this year. The first year I started off at 20 something, but it's a process. I mean, I want to be able to pay judges going down, as we start growing, because it's a commitment. Films come in, there's short films, long films, narratives, documentaries, student films, but it's a commitment to watch the films. You rate them. Everything is done online. You rate the films. We had film entries mainly from the U.S. The bulk of them were for U.S., but we had Brazil, France, Jamaica. There's a Haitian film, but it's not from Haiti. It's from here. So it's a wide range. UK, it's a wide range of, in Israel. Those were the places that they entered. So yeah, it's really, I'm enjoying it. But we really need to get to a point where we can get volunteers that are passionate about what we're doing. And beyond that, get to the point where we have a staff, where we can pay the staff, where we can
yeah,
it's a big commitment. It's a big commitment.
How easy or difficult is it for you to get the financial support that you need? Because one of the arguments I hear all the time, folks keep on trying to pretend that Black people don't have money, which for me is just a matter of what they prioritize, as opposed to whether, because I keep on saying 1.6, 1.4 trillion dollars in disposable income means that we're not supposed to be asking anybody for anything.
It's a lot of different parts to that. One, I need a grant person. That looks for grants, that looks for sponsorship, which I don't have. So there's a lot compounding just on me, the founder and director, as opposed to getting a staff, getting a grant or having fun. So there's a staff that will delegate to different people to lead those initiatives. We need a grant person to write for grants and sponsors. We need, person to do with volunteer coordination. We need admin persons. We need webmasters. We need graphic artists. So there's those things that are needed on a consistent basis, because every year you can get different people, but you want somebody that kind of can just commit and help you brand and help you become sustainable. So that's one piece. The other piece is getting Black folks to buy in to buying tickets. We started in January of 2021 to have one screening a month to kind of build up virtual, to build up an audience, so that by the time October comes, we have all these people that looked at every film from the first 8 months come aboard and support the festival and expand it. So we're finding that depending on what the film is that we're showing, we'll get an audience for that film. Like when we had Rodeo, we had a black film on rodeo. We had black folks that were interested in rodeo watch that film. We had a film on feminism, feminists, same thing. But they don't stick around to watch other subjects and grow from other subjects that I'm finding. So it's based on what's being programmed that month. So that's pretty interesting to try to get folks to just be open-minded and continue supporting just because we're bringing quality films. So that's a challenge to get folks to buy in, purchase tickets, because of what we're putting out there, you know, and we're doing some good stuff. It's just trying to get conscious-minded people or open-minded people who, even if you're not conscious, you can become conscious from watching the films that we present.
True.
So, and that's the thing. I think people just don't realize the power that's in film. You know, this is a medium where you're captivated by both what you hear and what you see. It's not like radio, you can just hear it, or if it's writing, you can just read it. But you're using two sensories. Your eyes, your eyes, your ears, and you know, you're taking that in, and it can be life changing. And some of the things that you can watch and see, it can be all inspiring. It can, you know, it can change the trajectory of your thoughts, your life, depending on the subjects there. So it's a very powerful medium. And so we just got to get folks to buy into that. When I asked some folks about what their favorite Black film was, and everybody told me a film that Hollywood did that really wasn't Black. You know, when I say Black, it produced by four in Black, has a Black subject matter, has a Black director or person in key positions. And so, you know, I'm getting, you know, Color Purple or this or that. And it's like, well, I want to get to the point where people can talk about films that they don't just see, you know, from the mainstream, you know, by Black independent films, because that's a whole nother world that people are not familiar with. And if you're not into film festivals and follow film festivals, you're not going to see a whole hell of a lot of stuff. You know,
I wonder, along that line, how realistic? Well, not realistic. What would we, as Black people, need to do to help people like you and Mimi and Ava DuVernay and all of them build a distribution system that's outside of the control of them other people?
Well, Ava's doing that. Ava's in a whole league of her own. I've never seen someone come on a scene so quickly and elevate, a Black woman elevate to the point of she has her own distribution company. She has her own theater. She's making her own films. She's utilizing Hollywood's money to make her films. She has her TV series. She's doing like 4 or 5 projects at a time, and she's making it initiatives where you gotta hire Black women to direct this, so that they can get their union cards and make more money and get more work. So I just seeing the changes of how the progressive visionary changes that she's instituting in the industry has been amazing. Like me and Mimi are small fries compared to Ava. I mean, Ava is really a game changer. You know, you see it happening. And for our festival, we were able to get some Queen directors, you know, so because her initiative was Queen Sugar was that you got to be a Black woman, and she hand selected you based upon researching and seeing your works that you did on the
direct, right?
Episodic television, because you know, episodic television is just a bit different from directing your independent films, but that doesn't mean that your skill set
is different.
Can allow you to do that, and she's picked women, and the ones that we were going to be talking to, their lives are changed. You know, one was Ayoka Chinzera was the dean. I believe she was heading I don't know if the dean, but she was heading the chair of Department of Media, Digital Media at Spelman. She was a filmmaker for forever. Her films are wonderful, but you don't know her name. People don't know her name because they don't know independent films. But now Ava has handpicked her do Queen Sugar, and as a result, she's done other things. Stacey Muhammad, same thing. She started a web series in New York, struggling filmmaker. Now she's directing, Blackish and Mary Jane, and she just it goes on and on.
Yeah.
And so, and Nima Barnett, she has been in the industry, started off as an independent filmmaker, but she's been directing episodic television, goes all the way back to Frank's Place, The Cosbys, Different World. I mean, her name, she's doing it, but we don't know these women
Yeah,
who are
yeah.
behind the scenes kicking ass,
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty awesome.
So she's laying the foundation.
And any foundations?
She's laying the foundation.
Oh, well, people, I'll tell you, lay the foundation. As our opening night filmmaker has laid the foundation for so many people. We are for opening night, our Ankh Award. We started an Ankh Achievement Award for SABIFF. This is our second Ankh Achievement Award, which is Life Achievement Award. And Uzan Palsi from Martinique, awesome filmmaker. I mean, not a household name, but people in the industry know who the hell she is. She's done incredible work. Her first film from college was she's from Martinique, studied in France, got her degrees in France, and her first film was a feature film. Her first feature, not her first film, was a film called Sugarcane Alley, and that film changed her life. It won 17 international awards. It's been seen all around the world. It's a classic, and so that's the power of film too. It's life changing. It's like your child. You birth it, you rear it, and it represents you.
Yeah.
And so that film was her calling card. From there, she directed A Dry White Season, which made her the first Black woman to direct a major studio film, which is crazy. That was Dry White Season. I want to say 1989-ish. I don't have it in front of me, but yeah, she went on to do that and direct many Hollywood films. But she got to a point with Hollywood where she kept presenting them with things that she wanted to do that reflected Black life, Black stories, and they kept denying her. And so she exiled. She said she left Hollywood. She left for a number of years and went back to Martinique and Paris and did her own stuff and made the film she wanted to make. And she does documentaries. She does, different genres she's capable of doing, and she's done.
Yeah.
So
you're correct. It was 1989.
Yeah, 1989. So we are so honored to be able to have her as our second Ankh Award. And we give her the Ankh Award. We're going to be interviewing her from Paris, France, and just to hear her story. And so that's going to be a big treat. That's tomorrow night, the 30th of September.
Okay.
And that starts at 6:00 Central Time. San Antonio's on the Central Time. So I can't wait to really introduce you all to her. And we're going to be watching afterwards. We wanted to get Sugarcane Alley, but we couldn't get that for streaming. But we're going to be watching after that. We're going to watch Ruby Bridges, which is a drama she did for Disney in 1998. And we're going to do a watch party. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can watch. We have a link for that. We'll watch that together and chat on that after the Ankh Award and interview with her. Yeah, it's exciting.
I love it. I'm wondering, it always seems like the avenues for us to grow and develop comes in fits and starts. And I'm wondering if you've seen any substantive movement or change in terms of openings and opportunities for Black women, filmmakers, directors, blah, 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 because of what happened after George Floyd was murdered.
Well, you know what? I mean, for me, it's like there is, when we talk about Black women directing, we're directing all the time.
Yeah.
But it's on the independent level. So it doesn't seem like it gets credence unless it's like a major Hollywood film or whatever. But Black women are constantly, and Black people in general, and I can tell you because of the festivals, we're getting stuff in all the time. But we're constantly creating. Well, one of the things that I see or that I saw post George Floyd, post COVID, is those things are reflected in the films that are being created.
Mm-hmm.
Like last year, what came in was a lot of films that spoke to the injustices and the police brutality and the racism.
Mm-hmm.
This year we had a couple that came in that dealt with COVID and
Mm-hmm.
experiences and what you did. There's like four COVID related type of films that people did. So film is, when I say art is a reflection of life, it truly is. And the artists are creating things that they're feeling, that they're experiencing,
Mm-hmm.
that we're experiencing as a people. It comes in the films that are submitted based on what's going on. But Black women constantly create. One of the things in talking to Ayoka Chinzera, one of the folks, the directors from Queen Sugar,
Mm-hmm.
it was a big thing. It was like when she got the call from Ava, it was just like, um, her friend, she was saying her friends were like, "Are you sure you can do this? Because you're a Black woman filmmaker, you're used to doing everything yourself, and it's going to change in episodic television, whatever." And one thing she said was just so true. It's like, as a Black woman, you're used to that. You're used to the struggle. You're used to the obstacles you got to face, the shit you got to go through to just make a film. So when you go to episodic television and you got the different departments that are doing things, I mean, that's like a luxury.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, if to have that coming from having to, when I make a film, I got to produce it, I got to get the money, I got to do the casting, I got I got to do location scouting, the directing, everything.
Yeah.
Everything falls on your back. So it's kind of a luxury when you're propelled to go down another path,
Mm-hmm.
and it's more lucrative as well, I'm sure.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. What is it that drew you to this medium?
I fell into it because when I transferred to Howard, I transferred to Howard in 83. I spent one semester at a dance school. I thought that I wanted to be a dancer because I grew up, grew up in the 11th and 12th grade here. There was a dance company that I danced with. And I was so inspired by the choreographer and being exposed to modern dance, and we performed here. And it really made me feel like I wanted to pursue dance. So I auditioned for California Institute of the Arts, got in, and went there for one semester. See, that was a time when Fame was out, and it was just hip, it was exciting, and I could relate to the characters and all that. But when I got to the art schools, Walt Disney School, California Institute of the Arts is a Walt Disney school.
Mm-hmm.
It sits in a valley by itself in Venice. Venice, California? Valencia, California.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was just it was very different world for me, very avant-garde. A lot of kids who were lost trying to figure out who they were there. And I was just like, and they were doing like strict ballet. And I was like, homegirl from the East Side, learned modern dance, and them girls were on point, and this and that. So it was very intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
You had to catch on quick and whatever. So, I hooked up with some Black folks there who were in theater that were cool, because you got to find your cool people, because everybody's wanting to be your friend because you know somebody or you whatever. It's that type of facadeness, just fakeness in
Yeah.
LA that I didn't like in
Oh my
California.
God, you sound just like your Sita sister.
Oh my God. It was I was just like, eh. But I found some sisters that were cool in the theater department, and we in the dance. And so we used to hang out and go and and disrupt the diet and all that stuff. I was like, I can't be on a diet and be, auditioning the rest of my life. So
Yeah.
I lasted one semester. I was like, this ain't for me. But I had to experience it. Because if I wouldn't have experienced it, I would have never known that it wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that was a path. And so after that, my sister, who was at Howard, my sister Karen, she's so logical. She's always been logical, and and I'm always just like the risk taker, just jumping into shit. And she's always just been very. So she had Howard on her book. And on her mind, she had been exposed to articles in Ebony and whatever, and people always were from Howard. So she ended up, making sure that she made her way to Howard. because we're first generation
Yeah, yeah.
educated. My parents we come from house cleaners and housekeepers and field hands, and so we're first generation. So there was no plans in the books for us to go to college. So we just kind of pushed that forward. Karen actually pushed that forward for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to go visit her. Howard just blew me away. It was like Black folks it was just, I was at the bus stop like it was Black folks everywhere. And so I was like, I gotta come here. I gotta come.
Yeah.
And so I ended up applying and came, and communications to me was just a natural progression on where I would go. And so doing that exposed me to Black independent film, which was a area I didn't know existed. Just like a lot of people now don't know that it exists.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And don't know that Black people are making films. This is what they are doing. And so it really was life-changing, connecting. My roommate had classes with Haile, and then I ended up taking classes and with Haile Garima. There was Alonzo Cropper was there, Abby Ford. Those were the mainstays that were there teaching different films. So it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's pretty much how I just kind of fell into it.
Mimi and I sat down last night, and
No, it was Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah, today's
And we rewatched Sankofa, and we saw a very young Ada Babineaux.
Young and tanned.
Yeah.
Oh my God! If I could just be like that again. I was just young and healthy and tan, no gray hair. Yeah. That scene was we were shooting there. We went to, oh my God, the experience in Sankofa, that was another just life-changing.
Talk about it, please.
Oh my God. That was life-changing. Yeah, it was I taking class from Haile. He would always read Nunu scripts of Nunu in class. It was called Nunu at first, and it was centered around the protagonist in the film from West Africa, whose son was brought over slavery, had a son who was raped, had a son here. And just the tumultuous relationship that they had, because he was taken by the master and taught certain things, and she's very African, and so it was just a lot of that, but she still loved her son, and it's just a whole bunch of stuff in there. So I was there initially with that. After college, I got out in '86 from Howard. Haile had gotten a grant from DC Commission on the Arts and Humanity, and that allowed me to work for him in his basement. And there, I learned grant writing, learned how to cast. We went location scouting. Rode down through the South, because we were going to initially shoot in Louisiana. And so, me, Haile, and these two other guys, Driver and Babineaux was a photographer. We got in a van and we went to different places in the South. We went to Louisiana, we went to South Carolina, we went to Georgia Sea Islands, and we had places to stop and people to stay with. And it was really like I got a chance to see the South, because we was looking for sugarcane plantations.
Yeah.
And looking for the big house. But what we found in that search was that the history of the big house and the slave quarters and all of that, the slave quarter, the field hand side was pretty much erased. People don't want to see that ugliness. Yeah. So a lot of that wasn't around, and or either it was turned into something else, just like they take graveyards and turn them into golf courses. Yeah. So there was learned a lot on that venture. And that's when Haile met my grandparents, and we had gumbo. He was introduced to gumbo. And just fell in love with my grandmother, and who I later did a documentary on. My grandmother was a talker, talking about Africa, and she's African and all that, and he was drawn into that. Yeah. But yeah, it was a wonderful experience traveling the South. But the South didn't work for him, because he wanted sugarcane, because he wanted mountains around it. And the South was very flat. Louisiana was very flat. So we ended up doing location scouting in Jamaica, and you could see the hills around, and so Jamaica worked. And so just finding one person that kind of opens the gate for you and gives you an in. We found a sugarcane plantation where this man allowed us to be able to shoot on that, and that was a game changer. Because once we got that, it was just like, and it was just crazy. We were doing casting on the go, getting a set designer on the go. I mean, it was just like we were getting ready to go to Jamaica, and we had just cast somebody and just got the tickets and go. I mean, it was just like there was a lot of craziness of things, but they made it somehow worked. I think we left.
That was the ancestors working, man.
Oh my God, big time. But I think we left DC with like $70,000 for a period piece in Jamaica. It was insane. So we were trading money on the black market, and I mean, it was just a lot of. That's why I was telling Hallie he should write a book. There's just a lot that we had to do to get this film made. The costuming, the period, making it into a period piece of during slavery.
How long did it take?
I think we had, and my memory may be gone right now because it's so long ago, but I think we did like, I want to say 4 weeks in Jamaica.
Okay.
And then we came back with all the footage. We're broke again. They had to come back. And then we went to Ghana, I want to say a year later.
Wow.
And that to me was the first Pan-African production.
Yeah.
We had Puerto Ricans that were shooting. Hallie's friend from LA was supposed to shoot it, but that didn't work out. He had a Hollywood film that he went to, and something went wrong with that. So Hallie's second choice was a Puerto Rican guy, Agustin Cubano. And he brought his crew. And you bring your DP, your director of photography, they're gonna bring their gaffer and their grips with them. So he brought his crew. So it was so amazing, especially in Ghana. We had the Puerto Rican crew, and then they made arrangements for these brothers from Burkina Faso, French, and came down. So you got brothers speaking Spanish, you had the ones speaking French, didn't know English, but when you got in that set, everybody was doing their thing, and it was magic. It was magic, just being able to go down into those dungeons in Cape Coast Castle, and we had to pour libation and pray before we even started, because it was serious. You can feel the stench, and you can still feel you can still feel that going down to the dungeon. That's an experience everybody needs to experience. I just feel, especially African American.
It will help turn you from I'm not African to I am African.
But you know what's so interesting? The young people that were living right by the castle, they call it castle, I call it a fortress. They didn't have a really connection with it. Like they didn't even know the history of it until we started casting them, put them in loincloth and chains and putting them in the dungeon. A lot of them did not know the history. It was just something they were standing. And they didn't look at us as Africans. They were calling us a name which was like white or foreigner.
Bruni.
So, yeah, it was interesting. But it was those two experiences were amazing, and then that wasn't the top of it. I mean, to me, it's like you struggle, you get the film made, and then there was this craziness of nobody picking it up in distribution. We went to Berlin, Berlin International Film Festival. Nobody picked it up.
Did they even bother to tell you why?
Well, the obvious was Rise. It was not a roots film where you had a lot of passive Negroes getting beat. It was a film on resistance.
Yeah.
And the white folks were in the background, really. Even the way he shot the priests and the way he shot everything, they were secondary in the background. And so, I mean, it was obvious. So having the additional experience after making the amazing period piece epic film was self-distribution. So I've been through the full spectrum, and that film was really film school for me. Even though I went on and got my master's later at American, just so I could see if I knew if it matched up, if everything was good. But it was quite an experience going through the whole process from pre-production to distribution and exhibition. It was amazing. And the audience is adoption of the film and taking it as their own and pushing it forward. Yeah.
Because we'd never seen anything. The first time I saw it, I was like, oh shit.
Where did you see it first? Were you in DC or Baltimore? Where were you?
No, I was in Miami.
We didn't go to Florida because we would, but it probably went there for a screening or two. But there were places that we actually went, and set up shop in Chicago, Baltimore, Boston. So we at Philadelphia, we actually went ahead, got a community organizer, set up an office, did a run there, print by print. We got money, made another print.
Yeah, we have in Liberty City, Joseph Caleb Center is like the center of Black everything in South Florida. And I know that they always had films, and it's funny because what's his name? Who's the one I told you about? The guy that was a writer, the Black guy who was a writer. I can't think of his name right now, but I used to work at Miami Times. I was down there in mid-90s, I think. He just came, and he came to the newsroom and said, "I want to talk to a reporter."
Jerome Dickey.
No, it wasn't Eric Jerome. It was the other one.
I can't think of his name.
That's okay. That's okay. No
but he came and he said, "I'm getting ready to have some lectures. I'm going to show some. I'm going to be talking to folks about my books and da da da." And he said, when I was selling my books on the back of my car, Black people were the only ones who gave me any love. So every city that he would go to, the first interview would be to a Black newspaper, and then and then he would have his first lecture, so to speak, in the Black community. So that's how I got the story. And he called me. He was like, "Come to." There was some hotel in Miami Beach. He said, "They paying all this money to put me here. Come here, come have lunch. Let's spend your money."
And that's what got us through. Black community, Black press, Black church. Those were the areas that we tapped into that really open arms. And even now with this film festival, I haven't really connected with press here.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I know DC. I know y'all. I know different people in DC in terms of the press, but I don't know if it's just you got to have that one Black person in there that's in a position to push you forward.
Yeah.
Because you got to justify and fight, for hey, do this story. So hopefully that will change and grow. But that's what pushed us through. Black press, Black churches.
We have, because I'm thinking I write for NNPA, and they have like 206 newspapers around the country. And I'm sure that we must have some newspaper down there. So I'm gonna look after we get off, see who's there. And I know you ain't gonna have no time and stuff.
Yeah, we can prepare for next year though. Everything is preparing.
We can talk. I can do a story, put it out there, let people know, because people need to know.
Yeah. And I think I just don't think that there's so much going on now. I don't know if Black film festivals are on people's radar, because it's a lot on people's radar right now that they're dealing with.
Yeah.
But still, I think that what we're doing is a service. I think that exposing and educating, even entertaining to a large degree, the quality of films that we're bringing and the quality of panels. I mean, we have some really good stuff this year. Interview wise, we got sisters. We have a panel on cinema dressings. Let's talk costumes. Like, who knows about costumes? Who knows about a costume department in the industry? I mean, these sisters are there's a costume tree, and there's different, you fall under different roles in that tree. And so we got a cutter fitter, we have a costumer, we have a stylist, and they're just telling the real deal about costuming on set. They've done Coming to America, Black Panther too, and they do a lot of commercials and a lot of films that come to Atlanta. So it was like eye-opening for me, who doesn't know about the different divisions of a costuming department. And she said a lot of Black folks, you find most Black folks in the costume department. Who knew? So there are skills that you may have as a seamstress or a tailor that could possibly switch over to film if you want to go that route. Pay as well, long hours, I'm sure, but you know there's an in and out date.
It's long hours anyway. My mom was a seamstress for 47 years. And I always tell Mimi, I would wake up in the morning, the whir of the machine, and go to bed, you hear it and stuff. So it was.
Just think, if she knew about the film department, she could have been working on film departments doing the costumes.
Yeah, she worked in the garment district in New York for many years.
Wow.
She always kept on saying that she was she was brilliant, but never got the type of breaks that somebody else would have gotten. And she always said, you know, if she was my age, then she could have benefited from all that, because she would look at a person and cut a dress without a pattern.
Amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. That is an amazing skill. And so that can be transferred into film, you know, for folks that are interested in that. So we have that. We have three sisters out of Atlanta who are constantly busy and love what they do. We have three organizations that I wanted to bring on, organizations that speak, support, advocate for Black women, stakeholders that are doing things for Black women. And Black independent filmmakers and different. So we have Women in Film on. We have Black Television and Film Collective, and we have Black Public Media representatives talking about what their organizations do, the grants, the initiatives, the resources. And so that is a great needed session for filmmakers, period.
What time do your days start?
So that is on the costume cinema dressings is on Friday the 1st. So when we open with Uzan on the 30th, that's just the only thing. That's an evening event. Then we start the next morning. Friday and Saturday, we call Friday Black Friday. So Black Friday will have films showing all day in different theaters. So if you go to our SABIFF.tv, SABIFF.tv, you'll have films running in both theaters. Just like if you're at a film festival, you would go to a theater, another theater, you know, and see different films that you select to see.
Is it all virtual?
Everything is virtual.
Okay.
And I did that because I wasn't really quite sure how things would be.
Yeah, we're kind of in that weird space right now.
Yeah. And I'm glad I stayed virtual this year. Plus, we had the platform build last year, Super Live Stream, Maxie Collier, Shartar Collier, Super Live Stream crew. They built our platform. They built SABIFF.tv. So there's a lot of things that make it run, a lot of apps, a lot of things that are monthly fees. And that's one of the big things in terms of needing sponsorship and support, to pay those damn fees just to run the virtual theaters. The theaters are you can choose to where you see your theater, your film, theater 1, theater 2, or the main stage. So the costume, Let's Talk Costumes, is going to be Friday at 12 p.m. Central Time. And then that follows with the perfect pitches by organizations at 3 p.m. On the 1st of October. And then that follows in the evening. We'll have the Queen Sugar Queen Directors Talk at 6 p.m. on the 1st as well. And then in the middle, and then all the rest is just film screenings. So you can either buy a film pass for that day and watch films the entire day based on what's showing in the theaters, or you can buy an all access pass for the entire festival, which is a much better deal because you can watch videos on demand and you can, see all everything's included in the all access pass.
Okay.
So that's Black Friday. And then Soul Saturday, we have a busy day of panels and interviews. We have, again, the film showing all day in both theaters. But we have storytelling, Black storytelling rites of passage. So my good friend Camille Lord Wyatt, she knew this writer who worked for Oprah, the own TV. And so she connected me with her. who she wants to be a showrunner as well. So they really, and then we had a sister from last year that we talked to who was in our festival. She's a writer. She wrote on Lovecraft. She started the pilot of Lovecraft Country, the Haunting, B Manor. She's done quite a lot of different series and stuff. So she is going to be on. Christina Thomas. And then we have another sister who writes for Saints and Sinners. These are all, episodic television they work for. But there's a lot that goes on writing for episodic television. A lot of politics, a lot of stress and strife, and a lot. It's very rewarding for them as well.
Yeah.
So they talk about the writer's room. What is that? What goes on in there? And they talk about their experiences and their journey. And all these sisters are from Howard. So I've been running into a lot of Howard folks in LA and Atlanta that are really making their way, doing good stuff.
What are the prices of the tickets?
Tickets range from $10 if you're just buying one. We call them blocks. So what we're doing is we grouped a block of films that equate to like an hour and a half. So that's like a feature-length film time, 60 minutes or above. We grouped a block of shorts and documentaries, whatever, into an hour, and we numbered them. So there's, out of the 46 films that are in the festival, and there's 46 because 2 of them are not in competition. 2 are local Texas filmmakers. We put 7 blocks in each theater on one day, and then the next day we reverse it, and there's 7 blocks plays in this theater, 7 blocks plays in that theater. So a block, if you're just buying one block, that's $10. If you go, that's like going to a movie, one movie, $10.
Yeah.
For feature film. If you want a day pass to watch films all day in any theater, that's $20. But an all access pass, which is an amazing deal, is $40 for 3 days, all films, all everything. So yeah, so those are the prices for that. I wanted to keep it still cheap, but and affordable, somewhat affordable, but also it's a good deal of what you're getting either way.
Yeah.
You purchase.
That's a fabulous deal.
Yeah. So we have Black Storytelling Rites of Patches on Soul Saturday, this October 2nd. That's at noon. And then we have an editor's story. So people don't even know what the editor is. An editor is those are people behind the scenes. Once you shoot your production, they compile the story and put it together. It could be either scripted or it could be, non-scripted. I mean, she's done Shannon Baker Davis, who's ACE, which is in Union. She's done series, started off on iconic shows like Project Runway and Top Chef, right? And then she moved to episodic television. She's done like Grownish, Queen Sugar. She's working on the American Crime Story now, Impeachment American Crime Story. She's done feature films as well, The Photograph. And so she's done all 3 type of genres, So talking to her and getting the process, how it's done. This is great for aspiring students who want to be editors, but also just the regular layman who don't even know what an editor is or what an editor does. She just breaks it down. She's another Howardite, which is amazing. She's a Howardite. These people that we're connecting with are folks that were, came through the same path on the yard like me and Mimi, and just went to LA and are doing their thing. So it's really encouraging for a lot of folks. And so that's at 2:00 on the 2nd. And then Unladylike 2020. That came out last year on PBS American Masters. We are interviewing the executive director, one of the co-executive directors, Sandra Radley, which is a good friend of mine. She basically, they put together this very hip new way of learning and about history. So Unladylike 2020, they chose 26 digital shorts of women who did things outside of the box in terms of making a name or a way for themselves. And so we talk about the process, the making of the documentaries, and then we also show 2 selected shorts, Bessie Coleman's story and Mary Church Terrell. And it's so awesome because Bessie Coleman who was the first African-American female pilot out of San Antonio. She's from Texas, and she has history through San Antonio, teaching school and stuff. Anyway, she went all the way to Paris. I mean, she did amazing things. Uzan Palsi, who we start with, has been working to make her story into a movie, but she has not gotten the funding for that. She's been pushing and wanting to do Bessie Coleman for years. So that is her goal, to finish and get that funded so she can do a feature-length film on Bessie Coleman. So I'm really praying, hoping that comes into fruition for her.
Yeah.
So we do show short of that, and Mary Churchwell, and talk to Sandra, who's out of DC. She's out of the DC, but that was a Unladylike 2020 was an award-winning PBS documentary presented on American Masters. So we're remixing it. We're called the Unladylike 2020 Remix. It falls into our whole thematic festival focus on phenomenal Black women creatives. That's perfect. And then closing night, we were so happy to partner with the Black Hollywood Education and Resource Center. They are 25 years in the mix, curating and supporting and advocating, and now they're even producing different things. They have a film called under the umbrella of films with a purpose. They're doing some of their own films, but they curated a group of shorts, very diverse shorts. There's an animated, there's documentary, there's narratives. They curated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 films that equate to be like an hour, over an hour, for our closing night ceremony. And we talked to Sandra Evers Manley about the organization, and she introduces the films. And then after those films, there's 2 added bonus films. And one of them, Mimi, I really want you and Desi to sit down and watch this one. One is called I'm Not Special. And it's about a little boy, Down syndrome, but he comes from a very abusive family. His mother and father are both crack, both drug addicts. He finds a coach at a gym who takes an interest in him and trains him to be good in basketball. So this little boy goes on to play in Australia and different places and defies his environment that he came from. It's a really touching film, great acting. It really drew me in. But so that's going to be a special added bonus on closing night after the shorts. That, and there's a film called Passage, which deals with an incident that happened during the Middle Passage. Yeah. So I'm Not Special. That is more of a feature, and Passage is a shorter film. Very excellent films. And Black Hollywood Education Resource Center is an amazing example of what I really hope to become with my, San Antonio Black International Film Festival.
Okay, cool.
Ask her if she wants to see.
Mimi wanted to find out if you wanted us to show your trailer.
There's a few.
I had some trailers that I had pulled that since we were talking, Mimi had mentioned that Hispanic History Month, and so I pulled some. We have a couple in the festival. I'm hoping that you can show one. We can give an example of one. I don't know which one you're setting up, but I'm hoping that over the course of as we grow and develop, and I really want to draw in more international films, because I like the fact that when you see an international film and you relate to it, there are things that hit home, that the likenesses of, say, somebody from Louisiana, somebody from Haiti. I mean, you see the stuff that bring us together that are similar that you would never know about.
Yeah.
Until you see it in film.
I wanted to first answer Alton's question. Alton is a friend of Barrington's, and
he's not my friend, he's my brother.
He's his brother. Sorry.
Oh, exactly.
Very good. Like you and I are sisters. And, Alton, a producer, is a magical creature. like Ada and I.
You know what I consider a producer, Mimi? I consider it the mother of the production.
Yeah.
Because a producer is typically like a mother. And the roles or the responsibilities are different from being an independent producer and being a Hollywood producer, because usually there's different lanes that you're in Hollywood. But like when you're an independent producer, you are literally putting the entire production together, from development, which includes funding, which includes research, which includes the writing of the script or the story that you're getting involved with. You take that and you put it into pre-production, which is a period that you prepare and plan all the logistics and everything. You put all that together, and you hire the crew, you get the location, you put everything into movement in pre-production that prepares you for shooting, which is production. Production is where you actually, all those people you hired in pre-production, those people are put to work. You have the DP, director of photography, the camera person, you have the lighting person, you have the costume person, the location person, the acting, all that rehearsing in pre-production now is live. Boom. And then you take it to post-production, where you're editor and you're mixing and your sound. But you are taking the hand of that child that you started like a mother, and you're walking it through the stages of its life, taking it from written to physical act, and so you do that. I mean, that producer is responsible for all of that, and the creative look and feel of it, who you hire, they're responsible for keeping the budget in order. I mean, in Hollywood, you'll have the production manager, line producer. There's different producers in Hollywood. You have a line producer who deals with the budget, the items, and all that. You may have associate producer. There's different types of producers that do different things, but it's basically the people that make the production, bring it to life,
Happen, birth it.
yeah, birth it, take it all the way through the stages of life, and own it. Typically, if you're independent, you own it. If you're a network, the network will own it, because they're the ones putting up the money for you to do it. Yeah. So hopefully that sums it up for you. Very important role. Very important role.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. Very stressful too.
Right now, because you sitting up in here producing with me.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
I am going
I will say this. I mean, to me, it's like the festival is a form of producing.
It is a production.
I'm taking my experiences from producer and producing a festival, bringing out all the parts, the curation, the films. I mean, everything. So I'm still in producer mode as a festival director.
Yeah, because you've got 1,000 moving pieces, and you hire all the people to
well,
put
hopefully I need to hire people. I need a budget to hire people. I need funding to hire people, just for consistency. Yeah.
So I'm thinking should I show Yaba or Unconventional?
Unconventional is more like magazine segment setup of different people that do things that are against what, they may do things on their own, entrepreneurs and more entrepreneurs. It's kind of set up like magazine format. Yaba might be interesting.
Okay, let's show Yaba. It's going to be one of the films. What day does Yaba run?
Oh God, I have to go to the website. Well, you can go to the website. Well, it's going to play on both days, but if you get that all access pass, it's whenever you want to see
it on demand.
But it's going to play on both days. I'm not sure what block it's in, because there's 7 blocks for each theater.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
All right, let's show this one, and then we'll be right back.
Esses negócios de óleo aí, ninguém quer comer peixe mais não, viu? Até amanhã.
That looks very interesting. It's
Yeah, Yaba is I was looking at for Yaba is out of Martinique.
Mm.
It's out of Martinique. It's a description. It's a fishing village whose ancestors came from Africa, enslaved, ancient ancestral beliefs and cults remain. So it's a former resident looking for ways to save her business, threatened by the decline of fish due to the oil spill in the region.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what I love about Black International Film Festivals. You see a wide range of stuff. So this is a real deal with what's happening in in villages like this. Yeah.
And then what about this FDTT?
FDTT.
Trailer final. It's like, I'll just show it, and if you
Okay, I'm not sure which one that one is. FDTT.
We were not prepared to die silently. I want to die now. I don't want to wait.
We are losing the battle.
Estamos, digamos, perdiendo derechos que estaban adquiridos de alguna manera, ¿no?
People don't really believe in democracy.
You're dependent on the state, and the state is failing you.
Lorsque Ebola a commencé, c'était la panique.
The war on drugs is mostly a war on people who live in poverty.
My daughter was 9 years old today.
She's still going to be sexually violated. It has to stop.
These are our democratic spaces that are being taken away.
People still think you need to deserve human rights, you need to behave properly.
A right is progressively realized. You can't go back on a right.
De penser à autre chose, c'est à la survie qu'on pense.
Unless we come together, there's no way out.
Y ganaríamos la batalla para siempre.
Yeah. So that is out of India, Mumbai. That is, it's called From Durban to Tomorrow. And that deals with 5 frontline health advocates from different parts of the world who work through victories and defeats, plotting a path toward a meaningful, universal human right to healthcare, to health.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had some good
Well,
stuff.
I'm excited. We're going to Barrington's birthday's on Sunday, and we're having some people over for dinner. And you know what we'll be playing on the television set.
Well, Sunday is our closing night. So, not night, we do brunch. We do an awards brunch. We go to the Carver Library, our partner there, and we make our announcements of who won the festival.
Yay!
And we give an award. We actually give a SABIFF award, a physical award to the winning filmmakers. I want to get to the point where we can award them cash money and stuff.
Distribution and all
yeah,
kinds.
we want to get to the point where we can do something beyond the award. But right now we do offer an award. That morning we have a discussion with the San Antonio Film Commissioner, Arts and Culture and Film, so you can just know what's going on in San Antonio, the incentives we offer, the updates of what's going on with COVID, the initiatives, all that stuff is talked about with another one of our SABIFF team, but he's also a filmmaker, who's going to be talking with that main Dwayne is talking to Crystal Jones, and so it just gives us a little San Antonio mix, and then we'll go to the brunch, and then we'll end it until next year. And then next year, our theme is going to be Black animation. Yeah. So we're gonna be giving an award to a Black animator or someone in the business, and have workshops, panel discussions on different parts of animation. So we want to get a lot of kids involved in that, so they can be audience to that and see, because that can be a very inspiring for kids to know what's involved with animation from around the world. So I'm excited with that.
Definitely. Yeah, most definitely. Ada Babineaux, I'm so excited for you. This is, I know this is a stressful but really
labor of love,
labor of love, and fun to put out. I look forward to it. I was like, oh, I couldn't go in 2019. Oh, now we're online, which is understandable.
Yeah. But you got to make a trip here. There's a lot. There's a lot of. Yeah, I love when people come. It's like, yay! I can.
We're coming. I'm thinking. I'm like. It's gonna have to be a sisters trip. Like, I'm gonna tell Debbie and Lisa.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
And the whole family. Like, anybody interested in film in the family needs to come to the festival.
Because I'm telling you, I want to get to the point where the festival builds on one end, but I want to get to the point where San Antonio is a destination where we have summer film camps and teaching and strategies. And I want to get to that point, because San Antonio is like a city where people come for conventions. I mean, there's so many hotels and bed and breakfasts and Airbnbs. And so I want to get to the point where we can build up to something like that and just have meaningful exchanges from internationally around the world. So it will get there. I mean, South by Southwest in Austin started off with, just like we did, small, few people. And look what it is now today. It's like amazing. Yeah.
Exactly.
So we'll see. But the big thing in terms of support is for folks to go online at SABIFF, which is the acronym for San Antonio Black International Film Festival. So SABIFF.TV. Purchase your tickets, be involved in what we're presenting, and give us feedback so we can grow and the .tv one is the one where everything is. The .com is just up. I'm just gonna get the history. Okay. But the .tv is where the festival will run. Okay. Where the tickets can be purchased, where you can see trailers, you can see schedules. All of that is where you're gonna need to actually run the festival. That's where our theaters are. And again, I'm just so grateful to superlivestream.com for building this wonderful platform for us.
And that's what Maxie did.
Maxie and Shatar. I mean, we couldn't have even progressed with anything without their minds putting this together for us. So it's just a matter of keeping the sustainability of it and growing it.
Maxie's responsible for so many platforms and so many
amazing brain.
amazing brain. I mean, the Bison Roundup was Facebook before Facebook even thought about being Facebook. I'm almost convinced that Zuckerberg stole Facebook from Maxie.
That's a film.
We should.
But no, it's been good so far. I'm really excited by the stuff that we're doing. I'm really hoping that since we're virtual and can function in a way that we can have meetings, that there's more people from around the world who have an interest, who want to come in and support in terms of volunteering and putting, because we really need, I'm a creative person. We really need business people coming in, helping with the accounting and the projections. We really need, artists coming in, helping with the graphics and the promotion, journalists coming in, doing the writing. So we need those type of brains that kind of join. I really want to get together a team, a team that can push this forward to the level that it can be. Because like I said, South by Southwest is like its own little machine right now. And they bring in mega money every year to Austin. So we can get and be and do that with San Antonio. Yeah.
We can do this. That you got family right here
Well, I appreciate being able to call Mimi. I need a technical director. When are you available? So I really appreciate your help with this, and I'm just so glad that I can pull from, from the people that I grew up with from DC. My BET people, my CETAs, my Howard people. That journey, that path was very critical to assisting me with the here and now, with what I'm doing now. It's been amazing. Yeah.
And it takes a village. I mean, all of our children, our films are our children too. And, I think I've been there.
Oh yeah.
Kind of funny.
And there's still so much more to do. I mean, I'm still trying to shoot films on the side and juggle. I think the older we get, because I was cleaning out my storage unit, and I went back and saw a lot of stuff that I had created that's boxed away, and I had to having to throw away. But I was looking about what I was doing in my 20s. I did a lot in my 20s.
Yeah, you did.
You forget about that shit until you like going through your storage unit and like, damn, did I write this? Damn, did I do this? Did I do this? And so I think the older you get, time becomes so precious and it speeds up. And so I'm finding now myself battling time because there's still so much I want to do in a day. And there's only 24 hours and we only experience 16 of those 24 hours up and working and doing. But yeah, there's a lot. I still want to do more documentaries. I still want to branch out, do some writing for some feature ideas I have. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
I think there's a benefactor and a benefit to all of this hard work that we're doing now that will manifest itself on the other side of COVID, if that's a realistic view.
Mm-hmm.
I like to believe that it's not a coincidence that Sankofa is now available on Netflix, and that Ava
after what 30 years
after 30 something years now, everyone in the world that's on Netflix can watch Sankofa like I did the other night and put it in their favorites and watch it over and over and over again. And every Black person I know should watch Sankofa because it'll change your life.
Yeah.
I mean, Barrington is an Akan priest, and when Nunu was saying, when Nunu was saying, I am Akan, I was like, you need to rewind that, because he was kind of looking in his phone, and it was so funny because he rewound it, and he looked at me and he went, oh, okay, and
because I knew what she was saying.
Yeah, and then when she was pouring libation, it's what we do every morning. And it was really, really interesting. It took me back to my wedding day. It took me back to other different points in my life where I've heard the same words and didn't know what they meant, but felt what they meant. And part of that was born watching Sankofa. And so
amazing experience. I'm just glad a new generation will be able to experience it, and just the wider appeal. I mean, just thank God that someone like an Ava was there to push it forward, because otherwise it would just be struggling trying to sell it by DVDs in the bookstore, so it's amazing.
And as we think about it, that's nothing but those ancestors that they called doing the work. Everything that we've been experiencing these past couple of years have come from that. It's not lost on me.
I feel it. I just feel it being away and coming home. The treasures that I have from my path, DC onward, is with me.
Yeah.
And so, it is, you're right. The ancestors put that into play for you.
They roll hard.
They roll hard in all our lives. So if someone buys one last question, and we'll let you go. If someone buys the all access pass, how long does the all access last?
It's during the course of the festival.
Okay.
Yeah, so it would be through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But Sunday you can go, I think, till midnight because the festival ends at 1.
Okay.
So 12:31.
So
But it will go on till midnight because you know, we only have access to the filmmakers' films for the festival.
Okay.
And then after which they can take that film, and the bios and the trailers will stay on the site until next year.
Okay.
And so they can go and look and Google that person's film and that filmmaker and see where they can see it again, where it's going to be playing. So the great thing about the SABIFF.tv is that it gives you background information on the filmmakers. Oh, and the other thing is, as you watch the films, make sure you vote. You try to keep notes on what film you like the best, because we have an audience choice award. So right where the film is, there'll be a thing where you check on your favorite film, and we'll count those out. And at the end of the award ceremony, that person will get, the one with the most votes will get an audience choice award.
Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of fun to see what the audience is going after in terms of best film.
It sure is. And it also gives you as a viewer a stake in the outcomes for those films.
You get your voice. Yeah. But also I want to say, for those out there who are listening, those who have an interest in becoming a part of our team, you know, volunteering to help us grow and develop, those who have certain skills that we need in graphic arts and writing and web design development, please hit us up at just SABIFF team at SABIFF.tv. So SABIFF team at SABIFF.tv. Hit us up, let us know your interest. And we start the planning process in November, right after we finish the festival and start getting ready for next year. And then we also are going to continue having the monthly online screenings. But we are going to open up to some venues during the course of this. There's only one live thing that's happening during the festival, and it's really with SACAM, the San Antonio African American Museum. They are having a live screening on the La Villita, which is a beautiful. So we have on the Riverwalk in San Antonio. There's an outdoor theater, so you literally sit under the stars as the boats are going by, watching a big screen. We did that the first year. It was like, we were like, am I in Venice or am I in San Antonio? It's like, it was beautiful, beautiful. So they are having a live screen. They weren't showing a female oriented film, but I still wanted to just put that in the festivals, let folks know locally that they can attend La Villita on the Riverwalk and see 42. The film is 42. But they're doing some great things too here in San Antonio, advancing history and culture, Black history and culture.
And
Fantastic.
Ada Babineaux is advancing history and culture too. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you
for joining us.
For joining us.
Yes.
Whatever we can do to publicize it, we will. We're going to all access pass.
Yeah, you know, even though you give people things, I always got to support
Thank you.
what we do as filmmakers, because it's, you know, as a filmmaker, it's got to be written into the budget. I'll buy a ticket to ADIFF. I'll buy a ticket to SABIFF.
Yeah.
I'll buy a ticket to other film festivals that are smaller known, you know, lesser.
Yeah, we have Black Stars. One in New Orleans, Austin has a Black Film Festival. There's a lot going on. Philadelphia has a Black Film Festival, Black Star. So there's a lot, and it's really important. It's really important because we're doing it for you. We're doing it for Black folk in particular, but also for wider audiences to get a sense of opening their thoughts, their brains and minds and hearts, and seeing stories from a Black perspective.
I also love the fact that, you know, you've built this platform in a very film friendly and filmmaker friendly manner. And who knows where it can go for you. A lot like, maybe not as well known as Quelly, but it's something, and it's significant. So my hat's off to you, my Ada Babineaux. I love you.
Thank you all. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna go and grab me some dinner.
Enjoy your dinner. Say hi to mommy for me. Tell her I love her.
I will.
I'm gonna kiss your daughter and grandchildren for us.
Yes.
Oh, I can't. They out there where y'all are. They on your neck of the woods.
I need to go
gotta get
stop
there.
up there and give them a hug and a kiss, and I owe the baby a gift.
Baby, she a grown girl, a grown child at one. She won taking over shit. She's
one taking over everything.
She's a trip. She's a trip.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, go do your thing. I love you.
Thank you. I love you all too.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Break a leg tomorrow.
Thanks.